What up, family? It's the Bitesize crew, and we are here because we just got out of, according to Amanda, something that feels like ages ago, according to me, something that feels like yesterday. TIFF 50, the Toronto International Film Festival, the 50th annual celebration festival, whatever you want to call it, just a whole bunch of gathering of nerds, watching movies, talking about movies, eating and people watching, because that's what it felt like when I was there. I'm Amarú, and that was my first time there, but we're also here with Bitesize creator, CEO, boss man, Nick. Nick, how you feeling tonight?
I am still tired.
You have a lot of reasons to be tired that we'll get into that in a second. And also below us, we have both Amanda and Adriano. How is the lovely couple doing?
We're also tired.
I still feel like I'm like really, like I'm still like, oh, I lost so much sleep, and I'm still recovering that.
Still trying to catch up. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Well, getting straight into it, I wanted to talk about just this overall experience at the 50th annual Toronto International Film Festival, and I'm going to start because that was my first film festival ever, and it was absolutely awesome. I was exhausted. I saw 15 movies in 4 days, and I wasn't even there for half the festival, like these lovely people here. If you go on bitesizebreakdown.com right now, you'll see my article of my ranking of all the movies. But I also do a little intro about what it was like to run into Aman Vellani, take a picture, turn around, and then immediately run into Omari Hardwick. And have a great conversation about the origin of my name and how me and Tupac are named after the same person. Shit like that happens. But as my first festival, it was, again, a blast meeting these lovely people in person, also meeting fellow bite-sizers, Bodie and Shaq, and a couple other people I didn't think I would ever meet in real life, but I did. And I see why a lot of people told me before I got there that this is a perfect first film festival to go to. One, the whole stereotype about Canada being a nice ass place with nice ass people is very, very true. Again, all of you were extremely kind, except the one person at the one screening that was really weird. Again, DM me if you're wondering about that. All the staff was great. They kept playing this preview before movies about the volunteers at TIFF, and it got an applause every single time. Happy TIFFTY, y'all, and it was well deserved. And just being around just fellow people like me for the first time in mass. When I had to leave, everybody I told at work, I was like, I wish I was back there. I am god awfully exhausted. I got up at 8:30 every morning, didn't go to sleep to at least 12:30 every night. And I just was tired, but I wanted to still be there. I was very, very happy to be there. Saw some amazing movies. But this was my first time. Y'all have been there a bunch. Nick, this was your first time doing something specifically there, which kind of sucked. But how was this TIFF compared to other TIFFs? How was this as a 50th anniversary? Did it meet expectations? Did it beat last year? Did it fall short? How'd y'all feel about this shit?
Well, what Rue is alluding to is I unfortunately got injured just before TIFF. So I was hobbling along with a cane my entire festival. It definitely limited the movies I got to see. But it's weird. It did and didn't feel like a big anniversary at the same time. I don't know if it was the quality of film that made me feel that way, but just the celebration of 50 really wasn't there. And that could partially be because here in Toronto, throughout the year, they've been doing like these 50 films and 50 screens or 50 showings, whatever they're calling it. And it's been more of a year-long thing that they're doing through the TIFF Lightbox and things like that. But the festival itself didn't feel particularly special in that sense. I think about, I think it was a year before last that they had like a Nickelback performance in the street. And it was like, oh, this is like a big add-on thing that they wouldn't typically do. And aside from expanding Festival Street a little bit, it was pretty much the same. And it really just kind of came down to the quality of films. I'm pretty sure this is, Adriano, you can confirm, I'm pretty sure this is our 4th year covering the festival with Bitesize.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's always an honor. It's my home festival, but it's also the only one that I care about being accredited to the most.
Yeah.
I think what you said about the first festival thing, not to knock anyone or anywhere else, but it lacks a pretentiousness that I think some of the other festivals have. And it's very fan friendly, more so than critic focused, or, you know, focusing on lengthy standing ovations that films get and things like that. It's a very accessible festival, and they do a good job of making it an event. And even when you live here in Toronto, they change the streets so it feels like an event, even if you really don't care about film, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Nick, how many films did you see in how many days?
I saw 26 films in 10 days. Yeah, because I didn't see anything in the last day. So 26 films in 10 days.
All right. And did you two also attend every single day of the festival? And how did y'all feel about the festival this year?
I did. She did not.
I did Thursday to Thursday. So I did a full week. And I did 28 films, including 2 Midnight Madnesses, which are wild if you haven't gone to one. It's so much fun, the Midnight Madnesses. It's just a different environment. To piggyback off of what Nick said, I do think that they needed to do something a bit more special for the 50th. I also, like, not to knock the slate of films that were selected for the programming, I just don't think that this felt like a big year in terms of celebration and who they brought to the festival. I don't know, not that it was slacking. I just felt like there could have been more. I do think that it was bigger in terms of who they invited press wise. I think they let so many, like, more people in, which is fantastic. And I think that it is the People's Festival. Like you said, it is more accessible. And I think that's where they lean more heavily towards. Yeah, all in all, I thought it was fun because we got to meet so many people. Like, everyone came over. Like there's also friends that, you know, we haven't seen in a while, and then we met. Obviously, like Rue, that you came as well. Like, it was just like, it was so fun to meet everybody. And I think that's the massive takeaway, is like waiting in lines, in the press lines, for like half an hour before the film, and like talking, and then we all collectively get out of one, and it's like, oh, this was bad, or like, this is good. And then we all switch our schedule around. Like, it's fun stuff like that, because it's heat of the moment majority of the time, and nothing sticks. The schedule is all over the place. You can say that you have an idea of it, but then that morning, if you get same day tickets or anything like that, it switches in 2 seconds. So it's a very buzzy festival because things can change in a second. So that's also why it's a lot of fun. But go ahead.
Yeah, like, not much to add. I will say, in terms of like the lineup, and regards to like last year's lineup was wild, but I think this year's lineup, in regards to, like, at least in comparison to the rest of the Fall Fest season, I didn't notice a particular downgrade, like, per se, other than the fact that we didn't have Jay Kelly.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think this year, in terms of ticketing, was definitely more frustrating than usual. For whatever reason, it was definitely more annoying, but it definitely, I think there was a certain punch missing, and I think it's because we're setting ourselves up to be like, this is the big year, and I set myself up, and I told myself this is the hardest I'm going to go, and then I'm going to, you know, behave normally in the next time I do it. But, you know, I still think a lot of the highs were still there. I got to see, like, people I was here to see Rue for the first time. Like, still kind of, this collective, like, the morning of the Ann Lee and Hamnet press screenings were like,
fire.
Oh my God, the dopamine. And whatever you thought about the movies, like, it was just, even before the movie, it was just the dopamine of just everyone together agreeing, like, this is the one, we're all going to go together, like, stuff like that. And, you know, as the only one who stayed down there the entire time. How I will say, usually every year, once the second Wednesday comes around, the mood shifts like that. This year there was definitely a mood shift, but not a gargantuan one. So, you know, I'll give it that. Maybe because I was staying down there, I wasn't commuting, but overall, I still think this is an excellent festival that I'm grateful to attend and live in the city where it happens. And and I got to watch some bangers, which is always
how many movies did you see over 10 days?
If we don't count the stuff I saw before the festival, are we?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that counts.
Sure.
Okay.
Go count them as well.
60 movies in total.
My goodness. Yeah, I had one 6-movie day, and that was the most crazy, ridiculous thing. And you averaged 6 a day.
Yeah.
Hey,
which is
speaking. No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Is like anybody gets festival brain during it. There were days where someone comes to like, "Hey, what's eating today?" And it's one like, But then the second I remember, I just waxed poetic about it. I think my brain's broken from all these festivals.
Yeah. But speaking of movies, speaking of Midnight Madness, I want to get into the movies we actually saw. Adriano should have seen every single one we bring up here today. With that many movies,
there is one big one I know I missed, but we'll get to that. I'm sure.
Actually, let's start with that. What were some of the misses that you did have that like you weren't able to see, and maybe we'll be able to either talk about it, somebody else who saw it, or hope that we talk about it down the line. Adriano, what was your one miss that you're sad you missed out?
There was a couple that I missed either due to timing, but also because I just physically couldn't. I tried like hell to watch Shi Xing-su's Left-Handed Girl, which went to Cannes. It's co-written by Sean Baker and edited and produced by Sean Baker, and he wrote it with a longtime producing collaborator, Shi Xing-su, who directed it. And I tried to see it. It just again, ticketing was such a nightmare this year. But the big one I think I like in terms of buzz, the big one I didn't get the chance to see was Eternity.
Yeah, I did want to see that. I think my biggest two, probably because I was only there for 4 days. I could have saw Wake Up Dead Man, but I could not grab a ticket. And I just was not there for a Frankenstein that I could see. But we'll probably hopefully talk about that. Anything you missed, Amanda, that you wish you could have caught?
I missed Roofman, and I really wanted to see Channing Tatum. Yeah, I'm really bummed about that one. I missed both Linklaters, Blue Moon and Nouvelle Vague. I'm kind of more bummed that I missed Blue Moon because that was buzzier, and you said that it was better amazing. Than Nouvelle. But those are the three that I think people were talking about, especially Roofman at the end of it. I'm like, shoot, like I missed it. But I know that it's getting a wide release, so I'm not like too worried about it. Yeah.
Thank you for Charlotte finally get a screening after 5 months. We are seeing that we get that in October. And it's set in Charlotte. We would have been pissed off if we didn't get it. Nick, what about you? Anything you missed that you wish you could have caught?
Probably The Testament of Anne Lee. And then a film I heard a lot about that was very difficult to get a ticket to was a film called Blue Heron.
Oh yeah.
That I would like to see down the line outside of its festival time. And I didn't get to see If I Had Legs, I'll Kick You, which was another one
I missed it.
I was looking forward to.
That one, I want to know your guys' opinions of that movie so bad because it's a wild one.
Yeah, I missed that one.
But Amanda brought up Midnight Madness earlier, so let's just get into the ones that we've seen. Favorites from the fest. For one, it's actually, if you look at my ranking, it's somewhere in the middle. But the whole just aura of what Midnight Madness is, watching The Furious, the most bonkers, ridiculous, epically choreographed mixture of some of the most famous martial artists living today, Yaya Ruhan, Joe Taslim, just like the way they put it together, it reminded me of like growing up watching the really goofy Jackie Chan movies at 10, and every single time something goofy happened, it was just screams. It was just like standing ovations. If we could have actually, there was, I think, one that happened, but they like set up like a round one fight. They did like single shots in 5 frames of like a 2-on-2-on-1. It was absolutely ridiculous. So it's not my top movie, but it's got to be one of my top experiences. Is that Midnight Madness? Any movies y'all want to bring up just from the jump and build on The Furious? Because Adriano, you seem like you're chomping at that one.
Oh,
I just want to say before he I am so happy that was your first Midnight.
Did you see it at midnight?
I was there.
I'm
Yes.
so happy that was your first, but continue. Yes, I'm so happy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Midnight Madness starts at midnight, ends pretty late. Walked out at 1:30 a.m. There was not a soul in sight who wasn't super hyped up and full of adrenaline. That has and I watched Police Story not that long ago, like Jackie Chan, which also has incredible choreography. I can honestly say without a shadow of doubt that The Furious has some of the best fight choreography I've seen. Like there's some Cirque du Soleil shit in there. Like the things that they do, forget about how do they film it. How do they conceive of it is what I want.
Director Kenji Tanigaki, he was a fight choreographer on a lot of movies. And like the buzz continued after because both Yaya Ruan, Kenji, and Joe Taslim were out there with the crowd in front of the theater for at least an hour, taking pictures, talking, signing autographs. Like you have a lot of the actors come out and have a Q&A. There was the Q&A after the movie, and then basically a Q&A out in the street, like they were fans. It was crazy. Did either Amanda, Nick, did you two catch The Furious? Well, let us know about some movie that you did and what you like some of your favorites that came out, or maybe your favorite experience for this fest this year.
Well, yeah, I think getting away from films overall and just going to experience, I have two that really stuck out to me. And one is, I actually didn't see 26 films. I saw 27 films because one of the things I got to see was the 50th anniversary of Jaws in 70 millimeter. And I remember watching Jaws when I was younger on like TBS, an edited version. And I don't think I definitely haven't seen it in the theater before. And I don't know if I've ever watched an unedited version of it all the way through. So that was a pretty cool experience. Getting to see kind of an all-timer film in this anniversary in 70 millimeter. That was really cool. But my favorite experience of the festival, next to meeting you, Rue, is watching Wasteman alongside David Johnson and Tom Blythe. That was just, sometimes you get to experience something where the people involved are so genuinely moved by it. And that's one of my favorite things about festivals. And there's just such a genuineness about both those men. And you could hear it in their Q&A afterwards. But being able to talk to them both after the screening, they were just very gracious. And I mean, I've waxed poetic about David Johnson for a very long time. If you haven't seen The Long Walk, go see it, among other things. But
Rylane.
Alien Romulus, if you haven't seen it, he's excellent in that too.
Fantastic.
But yeah, that experience-wise, I don't think anything is going to top Wasteman for me.
Nice.
Amanda, what about you?
I did Obsession as like our first midnight. We did that together. So my thing for Midnight Madness is that I will go get a rum and coke at midnight, go sit down in that seat. That's like my tradition. I love getting like a drink for midnight just to keep me awake, but also like just get buzzy with the film. Obsession is directed by Curry Barker, and it has like some supernatural elements in there. This guy really wants this girl to be in love with him, makes a wish, and she becomes like really obsessed, but it is a horror movie and it turns like go south, fam. Sound design was sick. Every single scare, the crowd was into it. Like we were hiding, like the anticipation of everything, especially watching a horror movie at midnight and like you have no idea what's coming. It's phenomenal. It was one of my favorite films of the fest.
Yeah, mine too. And
it was one of his. I love that. But as something like fun, even more fun than that, watching Hedda in orchestra with Tessa Thompson, like maybe 2 seats away from me, Nina Haas 2 seats away from me, Nia DaCosta, queen that she is, because I freaking loved Hedda so much because I read Hedda Gabler in high school and I knew the story, and then them flipping the professor into a woman just changed the entire dynamic and like enriched the story. Tessa Thompson's a knockout in that film. I love that. Again, I got a rum and coke for that one, but that was like a 9 p.m. But I got
You're just thirsty.
I wasn't going at midnight then, but I'm like, let me have fun. But that was a good experience. And
we
then
did normal that night, didn't we?
Sorry?
We did normal that night,
We
I think. Yeah.
did normal that night, so I had to fit the rum and coke somewhere. But then one more that I will mention is Hamnet. Like you mentioned, it was a press screening. It was full of all of us. And just hearing the collective sobs that Chloe Zhao was like able to bring out in the entire audience was just phenomenal work. And that is the one film that has truly stayed with me the entirety. Like still I'm thinking about it today. So Hamnet was fantastic with Jessie Buckley and Paul Mescal, brilliant performances, and just we were all crying from beginning to end. It was awesome.
Yeah, you took my answer.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah.
Well, let's just get into this portion, and then we'll get into some other movies, because Hamnet actually won the 2025 People's Choice Awards. So let's run those down real quick, and then add some movies after that. Continue on Hamnet, because first runner-up was Frankenstein, second runner-up was Wake Up Dead Man, but Hamnet did win the People's Choice Award. So I know, Amanda, you saw it. Adriano, Nick, were you able to see that one?
Yes, I was.
So I did not. I had other movies that like were at the same time, and I made my choice. So I decided I did not want to be sad, and I'll catch that at another time. But again, was it deserving of the People's Choice Award? If so, why? What about it? And what do you think, Oscar-wise or award season-wise, it's going to be doing this year?
I didn't vote for it, but yes, it did deserve to win. Yeah, which is totally justified. It's beautiful. Like that movie's just stunning. It starts off with like very like, because it's a sad movie, but like there was a very easy trauma porn route that movie could have gone and never did. Kind of going for like some like beautiful catharsis rather than like you better cry, and I thought that was beautiful. We're talking about awards. Congratulations, Jessie Buckley, on your Oscar win.
Yep.
Like wrap it up.
100%.
It's getting Best Picture. Like Chloe Zhao's getting her second Oscar nomination for director. I don't know if she'd win, but with PTA there, but she's getting in. Paul Mescal's outstanding in this movie.
He's definitely getting it.
He's getting in. He could win. It's getting, I think it's getting a slew of things. Score, cinematography, like all that.
I think that she was able to really ground the story. You felt everything with these characters. I thought the pacing was great because of that. You grew up with these characters, and then just the tie-in of Hamlet towards the end of it and what the story. I don't want to give it away, even though like it's in the synopsis. I just think it was just gorgeous work, and I think the screenplay is fantastic, and I think that could be up for Oscar as well. Like
for a nomination.
It's a great nomination, but I would love to see it win, because I do think it's a great adaptation of that novel, because the author also co-wrote that with Chloe Zhao. So I think it was just a true adaptation, and it's stunning. So, but yeah, Nick, I know that you watched it too. So
yeah, I think it's a beautiful film. I am not the biggest Chloe Zhao fan. Not that I'm just more indifferent than anything else. I think The Rider is a really well done film. I'm not a big fan of Nomadland. So to me, this is her best film. I'm not going to mention Eternals. To me, this is her best film. It's very beautiful. It is, Adriano kind of nailed it with the trauma porn aspect. There is a very clear route that this could have gone where it would have felt like Oscar bait, inauthentic storytelling. And
if I may, the route Christie went.
We'll get to Christie, I'm sure.
God, I hate that.
But yeah, it's. I'm going to give a shout out to a fellow Toronto critic that I'm a big fan of his work, and it's Steve from Screenfish, and he mentioned to me something that never really caught on to me. Is that Paul Mescal in this film? Jessie Buckley's going to get all the headlines for sure, but Paul Mescal in this film, similar to the way I felt about Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon, and there were so many moments within that film that a lesser actor would have had a freak out or this really bombastic moment, and he played it in subtlety and honesty. Paul Mescal's portrayal of male grief in this film is really impressive. And I think it is where he should be. I don't want to see, I've had this conversation with Adriano, I don't want to see Paul Mescal try these showy performances nothing against him in Gladiator particularly, but I just don't think that's the kind of actor he should be.
Not even a little bit.
I think quiet, subtle honesty, I think he really has a knack for that. And you can make an argument. I know After Sun will come to many people's minds, but in terms of the craft of acting, that Hamnet is his best film.
Agreed with that.
I might lean After Sun, but it's not that's a fair thing to like. I think that's fair.
I think with Hamnet, you also tie in the fact that like it's male grieving, but then you put that like the combination of like as an artist, and how that channels into him writing Hamlet. I think that was just brilliant, because even just the three planes of them, like where the stage is with the final performance of like one in the audience, then the stage, and then him behind is just, it's brilliant work, because you can see how transcendent words can be. You can see like how plays have legacy. Like it's such an incredible thing that he was able to do with just reactions and just the subtlety that you were mentioning, Nick. Like I thought he was like amazing in this. He's so good in this.
Shout out Jacob E. Jupe, who played the kid. He's terrific.
Kid's so good too.
I also think it should be noted that another acclaimed film from this festival is Sentimental Value, which I'm not as high on as many other people. I think Hamnet does a much better job of grief and trauma through art. And that is a very, very difficult subject to broach. And I think that is probably the shining star of this film when it comes to Chloe Zhao, is how well, and again, I'm going to bring the word up, authentically she did that. And I think that really impressed me above all else with this particular film.
Yeah. You bring up Sentimental Value, another award that they had here. Is it a new award this year, or is it just
the first time?
Award? First time they're doing it, and I believe it's basically another People's Choice Award for any movie made outside of Canada or the U.S.
I imagine North America.
North America, okay. Outside of, but yeah, the International People's Choice Award, where the second runner-up was Homebound, the first runner-up was Sentimental Value, but the winner was my very close personal favorite movie of the fest that I saw, and that is Park Chan-wook's No Other Choice. I have been describing it as what the Coen brothers would like to do with their comedies that suck, like Burn After Reading, which is trash, and what's that other, Hail Caesar, which is okay. They saw Park Chan-wook and they said, this is what we want to do. This is what we want to deliver. I love Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? That is one of my favorite movies of all time. But I honestly, this is the first Park Chan-wook movie I've seen from front to back. And I'm like, I see why. I understand. I understand what the Coens want to do. I understand what they are looking for, because they definitely saw him, and this is exactly what they want to do. The dark comedy, the absolute ridiculous situations, the conversations about like capitalism and the competitive nature of what you would do to like to feed your family, but also feed your own ego. Lee Byung-hun is going to get all of the conversation about Best Actor in this, because he is absolutely hilarious, but also kind of devastating. But honestly, I'm going with what is Sun Yi-jin? Is that her name? The co-lead, his wife in the film. Yes, Sun Yi-jin. I think she's the heart of the film. I think she is the heart of what brings it all together. Without her by his side trying to figure out what's going on and realizing and unraveling what he is doing, she is not gonna get, I don't think she's gonna get the recognition as much as Lee Byung-hun, but I want to give her that recognition. I also do want to apologize, because for the entirety of the movie, I was like, you look really familiar, and I thought she was the woman from Lost. She is not, ladies and gentlemen. That is not the same actress. They look very similar though, and they have a lot of the same mannerisms. But she was the entire cast was amazing. This movie is hilarious. And yeah, it's a good. Sorry, I have not seen Old Boy from front to back, but it's a great, like, it's also, I'll say this, it is accessible. One of the reasons I haven't watched his films is because I'm very wary sometimes of international filmmakers that have like the big prestigious like name over them. And I'm worried I'm going to get the pretentiousness and not give a fuck.
Oh, Park Chan-wook's the antithesis of pretension.
I cared, and I will definitely go ahead and look into his other films. What did you all think about No Other Choice?
It's my favorite movie, the best.
It's so good. Don't feel bad because this was also my first. Like
I tried to get her to watch Old Boy, it just didn't work out.
Yes.
Well, I want to watch the rest of his work now because I was blown away by his direction in this, and the cinematography is brilliant. They're
crazy.
There's some amazing transitions here. And then I think my favorite shot was the beer glass. Like what he did with that, the lighter as well. There's like just some really cool aspects in there where I'm like, oh, it's a different eye. Like it's very different.
You're gonna have your minds blown when you guys like this. This is like, as a fan of his, this is vintage Park. This is his most accessible for it, except for maybe Old Boy. But this movie like is so much because like a key element of this movie is that Lee Byung-hun's character is like pretty privileged in the like, and I mean he gets laid off, but like he's pretty privileged. And someone told me is that in the book that this movie is based on, the main character is kind of a badass, and then this movie is kind of a weasel. And I like that a lot when it comes to the commentary of this film of just what capitalism does to a person and how this movie ends. I won't give it away, but it's a bleak ass ending. But yeah, I thought this movie was brilliant, entertaining as hell, obviously, but also like actually very smart with its commentary. Like there was a very like some people who haven't seen have compared it to like Parasite, and I'm just going like, this is not that. The class commentary in these movies are so different.
Yeah, it's one of my 3 favorites of the festival. I'm in a similar boat to you two. I've only seen Old Boy and No Other Choice. I will be searching out some more of his filmmaking. I just unfortunately haven't had a chance to see it. It's really impressive the different styles of comedy that are in a singular film. You have like stupid Naked Gun style humor with the oven mitt. You have like really thoughtful humor. You have a little bit of tragedy. You have a little bit of desperation. Like, it's not a one-note comedy that we may get into took place at the festival in certain other films, but it is really impressive how everything worked that I think by a lesser filmmaker, a lot of those aspects together wouldn't.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Art's
Great movie. Yeah. Speaking of comedies, there's also the People's Choice Midnight Madness Award. We talked about the second runner-up, The Furious. We also talked about the first runner-up, Obsession. But the winner, which by no surprise based on where we were, Matt Johnson's Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. I had no idea who these people are. I have no idea anything about the show, but I watched it with the Toronto crowd. And while this might not be my brand of comedy, period, watching it in the midst of Toronto people watching a Toronto movie with Toronto humor and Toronto like references, I understood. I felt the vibe. I became endeared with the characters. It's an absolutely bonkers, ridiculous. They would have gotten arrested 50 million times kind of movie. And while I'm probably the lowest on it, out of everybody here, I very much appreciated watching it with people who knew what was going on. And I gotta admit, there were laughs I had that wasn't from everybody else. So I'm not surprised. And yeah, that this movie was a good time.
As someone who saw 8 out of the 10 Midnight Madnesses, those 3 were beyond the best of the bunch.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god,
There's
like
the buzz for the 3 of those.
Yeah.
The People's Choice winner, like
they nailed it. What I'm gonna say. I think that would how I'd rank it. Nirvana is one of 3 movies I gave 5 out of 5 to at the fest. That movie, yeah, it's very funny. It's got a lot of Toronto love in there. That movie's a miracle.
It's so
that
good.
Exists.
And I just wanted to tell a little story. So he loves rushing. He had to rush. He couldn't.
May I tell this story actually?
No, but I have to just say one thing. He couldn't get the same day ticket for Nirvana. We all wanted it. We wanted it part of our 10. We all wanted it. So I made the conscious decision of not waiting in the rush line because it was the opener and it was just the lineup was going to be huge. So I decided to go back to the Airbnb. Now you can continue.
I rushed for 3 hours. I thought I was in a good spot, and I was next in line. Like, I was next in line, and that's when they cut it off. And I found out from all my friends who were in there were definitely seats available, like plenty of seats available. Not my favorite moment, and I would have loved to see that movie with a crowd, with that crowd. But to be completely honest, our press screening was pretty rowdy too.
Yeah.
And like, you could feel the love in that crowd. Like
100%.
When there's, without giving it away, there's a stunt very early on in this movie. You could feel the audience going like, no way they're doing this. They can't do that. It's illegal. Like,
it's such a fun time. And
it's
then
the best.
The nostalgia hit, specifically for Torontonians, because I was beaming and we were laughing, but I was just happy that people who weren't from here, that like they actually enjoyed it for what it was, because I don't think I laughed that hard in a very long time. Like, the bits were amazing. So it was a good time.
Yeah, that's my favorite film of the festival. By not leaps and bounds, but like, man, so clearly. I got to see this at a pre-festival screening before the festival, and a theater that holds what, Adriano, about 30 people?
You're being polite, I think. I think it's like below 20.
There you go. And
it's bad.
Critic screenings, when it's not a fan mixture, are very muted and quiet. Even before the festival, when everyone's preparing, it was a rowdy crowd in that 20-person theater. I love this movie. I won't get into certain reasons that I love this movie for fear of spoiler territory, but yes, some of the things that they do in this film. I am not someone who's ever seen Nirvana the band, the show, so I went in as blind as you can. It's so funny. It's so creative. It's incredibly well edited. I can't say enough from this film. I love this stupid movie.
So good. I felt the love 100%. It also was the movie that I recognized Iman Vellani was at, and then I got the picture after, so that also will carry something in my heart. There was one other award that we'll briefly mention. It was the documentary award. Second runner-up, you had to be there, How the Toronto Gospel Ignited the Comedy Revolution. First runner-up was Epic, Elvis Presley in Concert. And the winner was The Road Between Us, The Ultimate Rescue. And I'll just mention, there were Free Gaza and Palestine protests that were really, really cool outside 2 days that I was there. And that's what I'm going to mention of that. And we're going to move on. Well,
actually, with that said, I do want to mention a Palestinian documentary that should have won, called Put Your Soul in Your Hand and Walk, which I thought was beautiful, which follows like a FaceTime videos with a woman in Gaza who, I don't think this is a spoiler, this is news, was killed by an airstrike after the movie was announced to go to Cannes. So that movie was beautiful, and Free Palestine.
I will not comment on the winner because I think we all have the same opinion of it. I will say that Adriano, myself, Amanda, I don't remember. No, you were not there for the awards.
No, I did not go.
Yes. It was a silent reaction with a couple boos, and then people kind of felt forced to applaud. And that was oddly a lot of pride felt by me that was the reaction of the people I was with. Also, I will say, this is kind of an aside. One thing that TIFF50 did get really right was the awards this year, and specifically the reception afterwards. It felt like a big deal, which they haven't had a great history of doing necessarily. But as I'm the only one who saw it, I do want to shout out You Had to Be There, which is something that it was on my list, but I couldn't get a day of ticket, and I was just like, I have an opening. No one's going to see this movie. And it's pretty incredible, the story about it, and the way that one musical production of a show called Godspell in the 1970s is a skeleton for all of North American comedy today. And that sounds like I'm being like egregious. It's really not. It's the reason for SCTV. It's the reason for SNL. It's so many things came from this one production. It's a really impressive film for a story that even as a local Torontonian, it's before my time. I didn't know. It's pretty impressive. So I'll give a shout out to that film as well.
Nice. So now I want to get into outside of the award winners and some of the movies, like a couple of movies you all loved that like you want to shout out. I'm going to start off with, it's not necessarily the movies, though I love them. It's a couple of acting performances from like my top 5 movies or top 6 movies. 2 of them were already, or at least one of them was already mentioned. Nina Haas and Tessa Thompson in Hedda are just mesmerizing. I also love the film. I could see where people would be like, there's highs and lows of it. Like the first act is a little slow, but when Nina Haas comes in, it just fucking flies. So those for one on that movie. Second, I believe that oh my gosh, my man is the man in the basement. Corey Hawkins, thank you. I think I have seen the best Corey Hawkins performance I've ever seen in The Man in My Basement, especially when you have Willem Dafoe right next to you who steals everything. I was stuck on him, and it made it one of my favorite movies of the festival as well. Not everybody has that type of opinion on screen, but I was enthralled by that movie, especially by his performance. And then I'm also going to give a shout out to another movie that just warmed my heart. And if you know me, you know my love for 1999's The Mummy, and how Brendan Fraser is just, he is as awkward and lovable and huggable in real life as you would imagine. And nobody else would have done Rental Family like he would have done Rental Family.
I will vouch for that movie. It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful film. And yes, David Johnson is going to be one of the most acclaimed actors of our generation, period. Yep. Wasteman was the close number 2 for me. It is such.
I wish I saw it.
My goodness, is that movie a powder keg? Yeah. Tom Blythe. I did not know your game, man. I did not know you had that in you. Wasteman is crazy. I wanted to mention those 4. Hopefully, I didn't steal anybody's, but like speak on those and then add any movies you really want to shout out.
I also agree with David Johnson. I thought Wasteman was very well done. I loved Tom Blythe in Ballad of Song. That's the first time that I've ever seen him in anything. And then this, he just blew my mind. Their chemistry, what happens with them in that film, it's just a very slow build up. It's fantastic, and I'm excited for you to watch it whenever it does.
Wasteman?
Yeah.
A quick thing. Good. I didn't love the movie, but Tom Blythe is also in The Fence, and he's very good in that.
Did not know he had another one out.
It wasn't great, but the Claire Denis movie, it's not great, but he is very good in that movie.
Yeah. The one that I'm gonna shout out is because it was the first premiere that I did get a ticket to, and I am a huge Judd Apatow fan. I love his films, but Maude Apatow's directorial debut for Poetic License blew me away. I was dying of laughter. Cooper Hoffman and Andrew Barth Feldman were fantastic. They're like my favorite comedy duo of the year. They worked off of each other so well. And Leslie Mann, I loved her as an actor for in everything that she's been in, but the fact that Maude gave her own mother a vehicle to just be as good as she was just warmed my heart. And then the mother-daughter relationship also warmed my heart. And it's about finding yourself at any age and just being able to connect with people at any age. And I thought that was really just an amazing thing that she did. I love that story. That was hilarious. And I hope it gets picked up because they haven't,
Netflix will buy it any day.
I don't know. Nothing's been said about Poetic License.
It's basically Nepotism, the movie, and it is so well done. Showing that nepotism can actually do really, really well, because the amount of freaking Nico Parker, also Tanya Newton's daughter in this movie. Hilarious. Adriano, any movies you want to bring up?
I got a couple. First of all, we're doing performances. There's 2 I really want to shout out for movies we already talked about. One of them is Rose Byrne in If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Holy. I already knew she was great, but this is her best performance, I think, by a country mile. And the other one is Indy Navarrete in Obsession, who is breathtaking. in that movie. She's incredible. I cannot wait for everyone to see Obsession. That's like a horror hit, like waiting to happen. I'll talk about Sarat when Rue gets the negatives and when I defend it. I'll defend it when you talk about it because it's amazing.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
A couple of movies I loved.
You're forgetting a performance, Adrian.
Am I?
Yeah. A performance that was very unexpected. I'll jump in because I want to talk about, because we kind of bypassed this film, even though it won one of the awards. And that is Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
Well, I was going to get to that. I'll talk about him in a bit. But a couple movies I absolutely adored. The Secret Agent, I thought was incredible. I saw it before the festival, and to be completely honest, I'm a little glad I did because it's definitely a commitment of a movie. But I was so sucked into like the sun-soaked nature of the movie, how much the movie hides from you and how much the movie slowly reveals. Like, I will hear the notion that nothing happened in the first hour, and I would say that's missing the point a little bit. Get your hands down. You're also not going to like this next one. Train Dreams was this close to a 5 out of 5 for me. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful movie. The movie like kind of operates on like this hazy memory kind of structure, and Joel Edgerton gives easily his best performance I've ever seen from him. Another one that I watched towards at the end that gave me a big adrenaline push was an animated movie called Little Amelie, which is one of the most beautiful, sweetest. It's like a little over an hour long, and it accomplishes so much in that time. And it's stunning to look at. It's beautiful to like take in. It's got a nice little coming of age element to it. We're on the eyes of like a baby pretty much, and it's really stunning. Silent Friend I adored once I finally got a hand on it on Silent Friend, and all the pieces came together in a stunning way to me. And yeah, Frankenstein is getting a little mixed positive. I thought it was stunning. I thought it was like, yeah, it's a little long, I'll admit it, but I thought the end is just about the means for me. Obviously, it's beautiful to look at. It's Del Toro after all, but the adaptation of Mary Shelley's words are like he nailed it. Like it's blood and beauty, it's all that, and yeah, Jacob Elordi is incredible as the creature.
My God,
I always knew this guy had it in him. Like he's amazing in Priscilla, and that's kind of it. But like. Oh my God, he's terrific in this movie.
It's more like his physicality was just incredible to me. I watched it twice because I went to the P&I screening and I had a ticket. Oops. But I could have swapped it, but it was hard to find something else. Watching it GDT is amazing at world building.
Yeah.
And I got lost in what he created, and that's why like it does feel long, but I could have sat there for 3-4 hours of him telling me this story. He does something really unique in this one that other iterations of Frankenstein haven't really done before, and that's why Jacob Elordi truly shined in this picture. But yeah, I love it, and I cannot wait for people to watch it on the big screen. Please,
yes,
watch it.
I am hoping that Netflix sends us a screener beforehand. I got an email about Ballad of a Small Player. That's another thing, and there was not even one in North Carolina. So like, I was like, yay, a screener. And then it was like, you're not giving it to us. Apparently that's not the one to see. So I'm hoping Frankenstein goes in there. Nick, any of your favorites that we're talking about that you want to bring up real quick?
Just because we've gone through a lot of my favorite films so far, I do have to piggyback on Frankenstein. This is basically an uncomedic version of Edward Scissorhands, which has all the beauty that film has, which is kind of not bogged down by comedy, but they change it tonally. In the way that you feel for that character, you feel for the creature in this one. Big surprise at the festival is Tuner. Tuner is a Dustin Hoffman and Leo Woodall film that kind of just started to catch fire as the film went. It's a little bit like what happened with How to Blow Up a Pipeline a few years ago, where everyone was just talking about how really great Tuner was. And it's got a little bit of Baby Driver in it, which is not at all what I think you would expect reading the description and anything to do with sound in that film. Sound mixing, sound design, score, it's all really, really well done and impressive. And I think we've kind of covered a lot of my top films of the fest. I'll just jump in and say really high on Roofman as well, which
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to be. But
Me
it is an endearing Channing Tatum performance, and the kind of movie I'd like to see more of in theaters.
Not to add on, but like I forgot to mention it very, very quickly. The Palm winner, It Was Just an Accident, is pretty out. Is like just for those last 20 minutes alone, like for the entire movie, it acts like kind of like a comedy of errors, even though it's very dark. The last 20 minutes are going to stick with you for a while.
That was insane. Like that. So that day, I had a 5-movie day, and that it was an international day for me. So I had Sentimental Value, Sarat, The Secret Agent, and then it was just an accident without like maybe 15, 20-minute break in between. That was my day one.
That's an emotionally
Thursday.
grueling one.
And honestly, like The Secret Agent, I didn't really vibe with. But then I walked into It Was Just an Accident. I thought I wasn't going to enjoy it just because my day was long, and then picked right up for me. And I really love it. That's actually my top 5. It Was Just an Accident. So I was really happy with that one too.
Nice. So we've been talking real big about things we liked. We can't get away with this. Maybe in the last 10 minutes, some things y'all didn't like, and I'm going to at least like end us on a positive. After we talk about the negatives, think about one surprise film you might have seen during this festival that people might not have heard about. I'm gonna start with I will say I was disappointed with Motor City. Motor City looked like it was going to be a really good action-packed time, and it landed somewhere near more of a kind of slow Shakespearean drama with no dialogue, and that kind of disappointed me. But I'm just gonna start shitting on Sherrod. I see the movie. I see how good the movie technically is. But I compared it to the visual representation of EDM music.
That's the point. Isn't that the point?
It is repetitive. It is long. It is like it is just the same thing over and over and over again until something really big happens. And once that really big thing happens, after watching people drive in the desert for about an hour, I didn't give a shit. That was the pretentious movie of the fest for me. And I was sitting there just like, when is something going to happen? I see the
stuff happened for an hour.
I see, oh my God, I see the performances. I see what you're trying to do, but come on, give me some. And then that thing happened, and I was like, oh shit. Okay, well, all right, well, whatever. And then I went, oh shit, again. Well, whatever. I didn't care for that movie, like one bit.
Loved it.
I do get where Rue's coming from, because I also had the exact same feeling within the first hour. I did feel the repetition. I think I was just so like in a trance of the sound design that I was just vibing with it. I'm like, whoa, this is so sick. And I kept saying that. But then it was also like, but can we get a move on? And then there were, subplots that just didn't even fully get tied up at the same time, when I'm like, you brought certain things. I know it was kind of frustrating. But then when that, like, I would say last 30, 40,
it's like an hour.
I don't know. I would say last half hour. I didn't feel like that.
Oh, it was the final hour of the movie.
I wish the pacing was better for me to have that section hit. But I'm in the middle of both of you. I wasn't as high on it, but I also didn't like completely hate it.
I thought it was stunning throughout. The first hour, I was like, this is a really fascinating, like, look at these rave nomads. And then without giving anything away, the final hour, I was doing this shit. I was kind of scared watching it. Like, I was like, oh my God.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It was an hour.
Not me.
It was an hour. This is a 2-hour movie. The movie shifts drastically in the second. Why am I lying?
No, I just have a different opinion.
And so do I. I thought it was the last 30 minutes, but I also like had to stop myself from falling asleep at least 10 times. So, and I was in like row 2 with the sound blasting in my face. Nick, any movies you were disappointed with or was just not high on, unfortunately, here?
I mean, there's movies I saw that were bad, but I don't think there's a film that disappointed me more than Ballad of a Small Player.
Yeah.
Because I love Conclave, and I love Colin Farrell. And little did I know this was not going to be my least favorite Colin Farrell film this year. But
This week.
it's this week, yeah. It's I don't get what he's going for. It is really what it is. Like, it's not
a Burger or Farrell?
Burger. Sorry.
Okay, then I agree.
It's not something where it's like, oh, I get what they were going for, but it just didn't hit for me. Like something like Sentimental Value, which I liked, but didn't hit for me in the same way.
Yeah.
I don't get what he was going for here. The beginning makes sense, and the end makes sense, and there's a whole middle that I don't know why it's there.
It's true.
This could be a short film starring Colin Farrell that just takes place in Macau, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I would feel the exact same way I did after what is a near 2-hour film or over 2-hour film. I can't remember.
That it was very dull. I don't care like how flashy Burger made it. Like the cinematography was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, it was
at times.
It was really good at times. I mean,
in Macau,
yes, yeah, it was very good. But for me, it's like I love films that revolve around like gambling and because there's so much that you can do with it. And then here it was like, why did you make this game boring? Like, what do you like? I thought it was gonna be a full-on like Ocean's 11 type of vibe, and it's like that's not what we got. And I was very disappointed, and I almost like my eyes were closing. And I don't want to say that, but it's the truth. And I felt so bad because Colin Farrell was right in front of me, and Burger was right in front of me. We were 4 rows from the stage, and I'm like, dude. Yeah. What do we do here? And I was upset.
I called it cut gems. Like it's very much here's addiction in your face, whether it's gambling or eating, and nothing to add on to it, but other than a really predictable
and the other one I want to single out. I don't really have a lot to say about it, but Sacrifice starts really good. Chris Evans is really good in the film. And something I've never felt before in a movie, when Anya Taylor-Joy enters this film, man, is she annoying. And the whole story that they decide to give you with her is just, why are we doing this? We had something interesting off the top. And it's like someone who took all the wrong messages from Triangle of Sadness decided to make a comedy that does not land in any way, shape, or form.
I agree.
I didn't see it.
I was vibing with the first half. I thought Chris Evans was fantastic. He was so fun. And then it leaned more towards the cult that was involved in this film. And I think that it would lean too heavily, that we didn't care. And then we lost the fact of like what social media and capitalism does to like celebrities and influencers, and why, the higher, like the upper class is just in shambles, to be perfectly honest, with the way they perceive things. So I thought that was more interesting, and I agree with Nick. I wish there was a different film entirely Sacrifice. So I agree with that for sure.
Adriano, any movies out of those 60 you had to see something that you just want to quickly point out, maybe disappointing or
disappointing or surprising,
or not very good? We'll end on the surprising.
Okay, that makes sense. I have for disappointing. I was pretty disappointed with The Testament of Emily, to be honest. There were like, well, hold on. There were moments where I was like, "Fuck yes!" Like, holy. But I think obviously we're hot off of The Brutalist, but mostly Mona Fastful. Her last movie, The World to Come, is excellent. But this movie, like script wise, I was just like, oh, it's like the music's amazing, Seifert's amazing, the direction's amazing, choreography's amazing, but this narratively, I just remember getting to a point where I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to take away from this. It gets a little Wikipedia-y, where it's just like, here you go, and doesn't really want to add on to it. I don't know what it wanted at least me to think about religion in America, or the Shaker movement, or Ann Lee, and it's not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination, but I was very, if we're talking about disappointment, definitely that. Worst movie of the fest I saw was a movie it's called Fuck My Son. I wasn't expecting a masterpiece. I was expecting to laugh. Nope. I think my midnight crowd helped a little bit, but it's just, the whole movie is just, I can't say the word on YouTube, but R-A-W-D. Like, it's just, it's not, I was very, if we're talking about disappointment, definitely that. Worst movie of the fest I saw was a movie called, it's called Fuck My Son. I wasn't expecting a masterpiece. I was expecting to laugh. Nope. I think my midnight crowd helped a little bit, but it's just the whole movie is just, pee the rest. Humor, gross out humor, an obscene amount of generative AI, like shameless use of it throughout the whole movie. It wasn't like, I get that the movie's a troll by design. I get that. But be funny at least. Like the least you can do is just make us laugh, and it just never did. It was pretty atrocious. The more I separate myself from that movie, the more I'm mad at it.
Fair.
And Christy also sucked.
Christy also sucked.
Amanda, what about you?
I have 2 major disappointments and one that I genuinely fell asleep in. The one that I fell asleep in was The Wizard of the Kremlin. That was an 8:30 in the morning screening, and it was a 3-hour film.
I'm so glad I dropped out of that one. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I told everyone, I'm like, do not watch it in the morning. Do not watch it late at night.
Don't watch it ever.
Don't watch it ever. But I'm like, try to find an afternoon. But the only thing I can say is that it's a film that says so much about Paul Dano's character. And Paul Dano's great.
Who's fictional, I should say.
He's fictional. And when Jude Law steps in as Putin, the makeup is fantastic, but then the makeup's very good.
I thought he was terrific too.
I thought he was very good. Again, just underutilized, and then the focus was on Dano, who was the least interesting person, and it felt just overly long. You also cast Jeffrey Wright to do absolutely nothing in this film, and I was just sitting there you could have cast anyone, but you chose Jeffrey Wright. So that bothered me as well. But I fell asleep during Wizard of the Kremlin. It was very dull and kind of pointless. It kept it at the surface. So I didn't like that one.
I didn't mention it as disappointing because I knew she was going to bring it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very fair. Oh, I was super disappointed by it.
Yeah.
Jude Law he's
great.
Breathtaking. But otherwise, I felt like it had nothing to say about Putin or the rise of media-ized politics. Like you said, it is so focused on Paul Dano's character, but for what reason is he the vehicle for which this criticism is being made? I have no idea. Pretty disappointed. I don't hate it, but it's disappointing.
I have 2 very controversial takes. I'm going to be quick with them. Disappointed with The Smashing Machine and disappointed with Wake Up Dead Man. What?
No.
Yes. I was, because Wake Up Dead Man, even though the people say that it's predictable because of the way that it was executed, it was still predictable to me. And once a murder mystery becomes predictable halfway through the film, it loses it for the viewer. I think what we saw with the first Knives Out is vastly different than what we have with
You called
Wake Up
that
Dead
one
Man.
too, though.
I did not call Knives Out at all. I didn't personally, but it was very predictable, Wake Up Dead Man. But Smashing Machine, let me go into it. The Rock gives a great performance. Nothing transformative for me personally. Was it great to see a very subtle, vulnerable performance from The Rock? Absolutely. Did we know that he was capable of that? No, we just saw it. But I don't think it's as incredible as people are making it out to be. That's just me. And they completely butchered Emily Blunt's character. I think she was poorly written. And I just didn't vibe with The Smashing Machine. I was very disappointed with the writing for the female character in particular.
Smashing Machine, I don't agree, but I get it. Wake Up Dead Man, I'm pretty shocked. I was yes. I made a bet with a few of our friends before the movie began, I bet this is who did it, and I won the bet. But I also did that with the first Knives Out too, and it's not about, yes, I know who did it, but the point is how did it. And there was a point in this movie where I was edge of my seat. I was what? How are they doing this? And I think you need to see it again because I think it'll change.
I don't think it's going to, because I know the exact moment where I'm oh God, this is why I don't.
Ezra did it. It felt the same way, and he watched it again, and it changed. Shout out to Ezra Cabero.
Let's hope.
I will piggyback on both of Amanda's choices at the end there to say 2 things. One, Smashing Machine is a very good performance by The Rock. It is not an Oscar-worthy performance. This is step 1 in the next phase of his career, and people are expecting this to be this massive transformation. We're not there yet. It's step 1.
I think he's
I agree.
worthy, but I think if you're expecting this, because yeah, I agree. The only transformation is that he looks different. But I also think that like the Gentle Giant performance from him, I thought he performed it excellently.
But a 14-minute standing ovation at Venice?
It was 10 minutes.
Whatever
and
it was.
for the movie.
10 minutes I'm sorry. Like,
they stood up for 14 minutes for Blonde. They'll stand up for
that's
anything.
what I'm saying. Like, it felt very overhyped going into this. So that's why.
Yeah, I would temper expectations. I think audiences aren't going to like this movie.
And as much as I enjoyed Wake Up Dead Man and did find it predictable, I think this is a very good film, but I think it is the worst utilization of the supporting cast that Rian Johnson has had.
I can see that.
There are a couple people in this film that they don't need to be there. And I've never felt that way in the other two films. So that was a notable negative on Wake Up Dead Man, though I do still enjoy the film.
Oh, I love Wake Up Dead Man. I was shocked how much I loved it.
I will give my feedback when I see them. But before we get out of here, let's end on some positives. So I just want to bring up one surprise or one movie that a lot of people are not going to hear about. You think that you want to give a shout out to. Mine is my third favorite film that I saw, behind Waste Man and behind No Other Choice. It is a Canadian-made film by a Canadian director, Sacha Lee Henry. It is a movie about adult relationships that I don't think get enough light or shine, and how important friendships are and how formative adult friendships are. It's a movie called Dinner with Friends by Sacha Lee Henry. And it is hilarious. It is moving. It is touching. It is intense. Every emotion, like if you have had any kind of friendship relationship, especially an adult friendship relationship, this movie hits on what that feels like and really highlights how important those relationships are and how much we really don't think about how much is needed. And I really hope somebody somewhere picks this really small movie up so people can see it, because it is a delight.
Nice.
Nick, I'll go to you. We'll go back around.
Yeah, with getting away from some of the ones that we've already spoken about, I think my surprise would probably be Caroline.
Damn, I should have went to you first. I'm sorry.
I love that. I love it. Good for you.
If you've been following this website for a while, you know I'm a big Kyle Gallner fan. I think he does some incredible work that gets underseen by a lot of people. And this kind of modern day Bonnie and Clyde type story is just really well acted, really well told, and exciting. And I expected it to enjoy Gallner in it, but you never know if you're going to get Strange Darling or if you're going to get Just Breathe. Yeah. And this is definitely closer to the side of a Strange Darling, some of his better works. And put Kyle Gallner in bigger films. That's my pedestal I'm standing on here.
He's so good.
Amanda, so nothing gets stolen from you. I'm sorry I didn't go your way the first time.
No.
Go ahead.
She was going to take my answers anyway. It's
okay. No, I'm just going to agree with Nick with Caroline. I thought the chemistry between Weaving and Gallner was fire, straight up one of the hottest on-screen couples that I've seen. And it kind of reminded me of Focus with Will Smith and Margot Robbie, but it's 10 times better than that. I'm going to be honest.
Good.
Really good chemistry.
I'm going to piggyback Caroline briefly. Yeah. You can tell where it's going from frame zero, and execution saves it. It's so much fun. And yeah, Samara and Kyle are terrific.
So good together.
I love it.
So I'm going to choose Eternity, which is one that he chose not to watch because he was in the theater and then he left. But anyway.
True story. I was coerced into this press screening, even though I wanted to go to the Silent Friend press screening. Not that I thought it was going to be bad. I just really wanted to see Silent Friend. So last minute, I just stood up and went to Silent Friend, which was 15 minutes after it started.
Yes, I know. But with Eternity, Elizabeth Olsen's in it, Callum Turner's in it, Miles Teller's in it. And I kind of vibed with this magical realism that they created about, your partner dying and then you are waiting at this train station for them to arrive and you get to choose which eternity that you get to live with them in the afterlife. And I thought it was just such a beautiful reminder of like what we take for granted. And I love the three of them together. I thought Miles Teller was fantastic in this. I think the comedy, the humor is really good, but it's just so moving and emotional. And I think it's one of the best romantic comedies of the year, and one that I've seen in a very long time. Divine Joy Randolph is hysterical in Eternity. I thought she was a doll, and I love seeing her, and that's in a comic. She's so good. But it's beautiful, and like it's so playful and endearing, and I just love that the production of it is just, you get to really come up with anything in the afterlife. And I think they've really like had so much fun with that, but just trying to navigate like the what ifs of your life, and like, well, different paths with different people and how that can turn out. So I thought that, it's a very well-rounded film, and the biggest surprise for me, and I know that A24 has it and it's coming out soon, and I in November, and I just highly recommend that people go watch it. It's so beautiful and well done. Yeah, loved it.
Adriano, end us out here.
Well, Nick wants me to pick Hen as my biggest surprise. I won't, for one reason only. It's not a surprise. I knew it was going to be awesome, and it was. I guess I have two answers, so I'll be brief. One of them is, so Richard Linklater had two movies at TIFF. One of them, Nouvelle Vague, which I didn't like. The other one, Blue Moon, which I loved. The movie takes place entirely in this bar, and you might think, oh, Chamber Piece probably looks like a play. Yep. Linklater owns it that this is a play, and it is. It's super funny, super emotional, and Ethan Hawke gives one of my absolute favorite performances from him probably ever. And the other one I want to mention briefly, not that I didn't think it was going to be good, but A Poet, which is, this little Mexican movie about this really narcissistic poet, really caught me off guard how much I loved it, about like this very slimy guy who just kind of could take us on this tight wire act of just like, oh my God, this is so frustrating. I can't keep my eyes off the screen. Really loved it. Super funny too.
All right. Well, with that, everybody, thank you all for joining us tonight, today, tomorrow, whatever you decided to watch us for about an hour. TIFF was long, so this video was going to be long because we had a lot to talk about. I'm very happy that I got to experience this festival. Very happy that I got to meet all these beautiful people. Ooh. Again, shout out to Bodhi and Shaq, who I also met in person. I hate that all of you were tall, because me and Amanda are about the same size, and like, hey, it's just whatever. Anyway, there's a picture out there. The angle is good though. I don't look extremely short. But anyway, thank you all for joining us, and for everybody who was there, have a happy TIFFTY, y'all. Peace.